Torna the Golden Country is a game I love for a great many reasons. Its gameplay, its music, its characters, this one ridiculously good fight scene that I eagerly await on every playthrough. In all aspects, this game just speaks to such a high level of care and attention poured into it by the hundreds of artists behind its creation. Indelibly greatest among these reasons, though, is its ending. Being a prequel to Xenoblade 2, Torna has a lot of room to expand and deepen what was already a very potent story with extremely complex characters into something with even more emotional weight, and this, naturally, comes to a head in its ending. It's the moment where everything falls into place, in a way the audience knows inevitably has to happen, only making it all the more tragic. We witness Amalthus's rise to power, the foundation of Tantal, and Adam sealing Pyra away. Most crucial of all, however, is the lead up to Laura's death. This section of the ending, for me, is the one that epitomizes all that this game is emotionally. Two movements of the camera across 25 seconds that perfectly capture everything that Torna represents. It's this part here. It is hard to convey in words alone how much this part affects me. It's a zenith of emotion, where the building tension of everything preceding it comes crashing down. Wordlessly, it communicates all that it needs to and so much more. Pivotally, this moment is the narrative bridge that connects the Jin we know from the base game with the one we learned about in Torna. In but a brief instant, his life and relationships as he knew them are mercilessly stripped away, leaving him bereft and broken. Notably, the scene omits the part the player will already be familiar with from the base game, the moment of Laura's death. By leaving this blank, allowing the player to fill it in themselves, it becomes so much more heartrending and impactful. Foregrounding this by having Jin be the only one to notice hits so hard too. It evokes empathy for Jin from the player, as they share this moment of realization simultaneously. Despite seeing it coming, Jin was still not fast or strong enough to be able to save the people he cared about, regrets that later influenced his abilities as a flesh eater. Following this, the camera pans deep through the trees, barely obfuscating the violence yet to come, with the shot ending on the first step of an Enderline Sentinel. This then cuts to an overhead shot, showing that to be just the first of many set to destroy what remains of the Tornan people. This juxtaposition, the serenity of nature, our main characters in the refugee camp, against the destructive force of Amalthus's cruelty made manifest, is made apparent here, as is the scale of the violence about to unfold via that Sentinel's first step unveiling the vast army that follows. It's as if that step is representative of this incident as a whole, a disruption to what, moments prior, was calm and optimistic, massively upending and destroying countless lives in the process. Panning across the Enderline forces, the camera resolves upon a shot looking up at the World Tree. After tracking across the event that will set Jin down the path of destructive nihilism, we focus on the place his arc will resolve so many years later, coursing the totality of Jin's story in just one shot. Not only does this convey the breadth of Jin's tragedy and the way he'll manage to come to some sort of peace later, the low angle here imbues a sense of power and importance to the World Tree, personifying it as a silent observer of this moment, an idea reinforced by the overhead view used just prior. It becomes, in metaphor, the architect, watching over the world in quiet isolation amid all its suffering. This is poignant, as it puts upon Jin those feelings of isolation and abandonment, of being left alone and hurt in a cruel and uncaring world. It's cyclical. This is also what Amalthus felt, both in his own tragic loss of a loved one, and upon entering Elysium to find it empty. The lives of both of these people were sundered by the architect's inaction, his own nihilism leading him to never intervene or help, thus imposing that same feeling of nihilism on others. It's not coincidental that the scenes depicting the death of Amalthus's mother and Laura in the base game parallel each other so strongly. It's a deliberate comparison that represents the cycle of hopeless people creating more hopeless people, of that loss and pain being channeled into hatred and despair. Besides the strength of the visual storytelling, the music can't be ignored either. I don't think I'd be alone in saying that I find A Moment of Eternity to be one of the most moving tracks across the entire series, but even that cannot quantify the unrelenting force of its impact here. Laura's impassioned message to Jin, urging him to live on in her stead, to be able to look forward again, is expressed beautifully, demonstrating the true depth and significance of their bond, which, in turn, only further exacerbates the tragedy of her death. During the sequence in question, we hear, The contrast between Laura's wishes and Jin's reality is made apparent, as he is literally looking back as this line is sung. More metaphorically, this is emblematic of Jin's coming inability to let go and move on. Laura wants Jin to be able to live on without her, happy to have just the time and memories they shared, whereas Jin will end up holding on to only the most despairing and destructive emotions brought about by her death. This ending for Jin is one that pushes him into that unending cycle of self-hatred and pessimism, the same one that many of Xenoblade 2's characters find themselves in. Ultimately, the only thing that can break it is choosing to be different, to find that ability to love yourself, and the optimism to persevere in the face of all the horror and cruelty the world can throw at you. It may take a while to remember, or to be able to feel that again, but it can happen, especially with help from the right people. After all,
things can change. There's always hope.
God, I love this ending so much.